autumn is coming and I love to read weird, whimsical, cozy books in that season, and I am here to recommend 5 of those to you. Hello lovely book dragons, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Joana and I love to talk about books on this channel, specifically fantasy books. Today I am not solely recommending fantasy, but kind of, because all of these books have like a weird element that could be magical realism, which is a subgenre of fantasy, but basically these are books that are whimsical and a little bit weird with beautiful writing and just a little something that is either set in our world and then there's a little something weird about it or something whimsical. And I don't know, I just felt like this was a good autumn recommendation to get you into the autumn mood. So these are more like maybe September reads or even October. I don't know, you read these when you want. But I've been wanting to make this video for a while and I decided, let's do this. The first book on my recommendation, and I think if you saw the title of this video, you may have thought of this book and you saw the thumbnail, so you know this is in here. And that is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Now this book is just has the most stunning cover of all, to be honest. Like, look at that. This book is the epitome of what I'm trying to recommend here. We follow our main character, Zachary Ezra Rollins, and he is living his life until one day he finds this book in a library and he reads the first page or so and he realizes that what he's reading is something that happened to him in his childhood. And the story kind of goes from there. When Zachary Rollins stumbles across a strange book hidden in his university library, it leads him on a quest unlike any other. Its pages entrance him with their tales of lovelorn prisoners, lost cities, and nameless acolytes, but they also contain something impossible, a recollection from his own childhood. That is the basic pitch that I want to leave you with this book. So our main character, he just reads a book at his library and it reminds him of something that happened in his childhood and he's trying to go back and figure this out. And this book is just so beautiful, so lyrical. Her writing style is just so beautiful. And I know that this book didn't work for a lot of people. And I was really scared that it wasn't gonna work for me, but it did. I will highly recommend the audiobook along with this one because when I picked up the audiobook, it was when I couldn't put this down anymore. It is just very well narrated, and this is like a story that has stories within stories within stories, and it is just so beautiful, so whimsical, and just the perfect book to get you through the autumn and to cozy up under a blanket with some candles on and a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. I think that this is the perfect book for that. I really enjoyed it myself. I didn't think I would. It is very weird and you may get through this book and be like, what the heck just happened? And I love that. My next recommendation is a new favorite from this year, which I wasn't expecting to love as much, and it stole my heart, and that is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. In this one, we follow our main character who lives in this house that has a lot of statues and it has an ocean in it. And that is basically all that we know when we go into this. The only thing you need to know is that this character lives there alone with one other person. And because the book is so tiny, I won't say much more about it. It has like a feel of a mystery because you want to discover about this house, about this world. And as our main character starts discovering things themselves, you want to figure it out with them. But this book, it just kept me there. I was reading other things alongside it and I just wanted to return to this all the time. It was just so beautiful, the writing is just so beautiful, and the punch it packs in these amount of pages is incredible. I highly recommend this one. I highly recommend not knowing anything else about it when you go in. And yeah, this is, if you want to read any of these, I think this is my top recommendation because it is so short and I think you will really enjoy it. A lot of people who didn't think we're gonna love this ended up really enjoying it. I gave it 4 stars when I first read it, but then I bumped it up to a 5 because I think about this book constantly and I can't wait to reread it one day and just re-experience this all over again. This next book I know didn't work for everyone. I have recommended this to a lot of friends and they picked it up and most of them enjoyed it but didn't love it. But to me, I read this at the right time. We met at the right time, and that is The Betrayals by Bridget Collins. The author has another book out that I haven't read yet, so I can't recommend that one, but I've read this one and I loved it so much. So in this world, books are considered disgusting and gross, and our main character is called upon by the village bookbinder to become her apprentice, and people start frowning at him, be like, oh, that is disgusting, books, you're gonna work with books, that is bad. And I don't want to say more. The synopsis to me gives away a huge plot point, which I didn't read the synopsis going in. As you know this about me, I don't like knowing things about the books that I read. and which is why this book was so much more impactful to me, I think, because I didn't read the synopsis. So there was something happening that I had no idea was going to happen, and it impacted me so much more because I had no idea. However, if you read the synopsis, the seed is already planted in your head, and so I think you would do well to not read the synopsis, or not more than what I've just told you going into this. This book is hard. It's hard to read. It is an LGBT book. It tackles those themes of like LGBT and people not being accepting and stuff like that very well, in my opinion. I don't know, but I think so. It was so hard hitting, it was so impactful, and the writing also, I had such a good time with this writing style. I usually like straightforward writing, but here it also worked. It's not as lyrical, I would say, as Erin Morgenstern, but I remember that it was beautiful. Also, listen to the audiobook of this one, and I highly recommend it. I think they used to be on Scribd, so maybe you can find them on there. And this one is definitely a book to curl up when it rains outside with a blanket as well, and just have a good time, let yourself be carried by the story and by this narrative, and fall in love with these characters the way that I did. The next recommendation is The 10,000 Doors of January. Let me read you the synopsis for this one. Every story opens a door. In a sprawling mansion filled with peculiar treasures, January Scalar is a curiosity herself. As the ward of the wealthy Mr. Locke, she feels little different from the artifacts that decorate the halls, carefully maintained, largely ignored, and utterly out of place. But her quiet existence is shattered when she stumbles across a strange book. A book that carries the scent of other worlds and tells a tale of secret doors of love, adventure, and danger. Each page reveals a more impossible truth about the world, and January discovers a story increasingly entwined with her own. So this one has similar vibes, I would say, to the Starless Sea, but it's not as confusing and it's not as out there. It is also shorter. I think that if the Starless Sea is a little bit intimidating to you and you're like, I don't know if I want to read that, that sounds a bit too weird, a bit like too confusing, then I would pick up The 10,000 Doors of January if I were you. I will say that I buddy read this one and we were having a wonderful time until the ending. I felt that the ending of this book was a tiny bit rushed, and it didn't give me the conclusion that I think the book deserved. I think the author could have spent a little bit more time with the conclusion of the novel, but even so, I gave this one a 4 stars, I remember, and it is a book that I think about. It is a book that I really, really enjoyed, and that I would probably definitely reread at some point, because again, this is a book that is just so cozy and whimsical, and you have different worlds and traveling through doors to different worlds and stuff like that, and through books. And so I think that if you love books and if you like that idea of going like through different worlds like portals, I think that you would really enjoy this one, because it is very beautiful and whimsical, and I just had a grand time with this one. My final recommendation is really completely different from all of those, but it does have that little whimsical aspect to it, like mysterious, maybe this is magical realism plot to it, and that is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Again, I know this one is not for everyone. I have had a lot of people read this and not enjoy it, especially not enjoy the twist, which is totally fine. Let me also read you the synopsis for this one. When glamorous socialite Noemi Taboada receives a frantic letter from her newly wed cousin begging to be rescued from a mystery doom, it's clear something is desperately amiss. Catalina has always had a flair for the dramatic, but her claims that her husband is poisoning her and her visions of restless ghosts sound remarkable even for her. Noemi's chic gowns and perfect lipstick are more suited to cocktail parties than amateur sleuthing, but she immediately heads to High Place, a remote mansion in the Mexican countryside, determined to discover what is so affecting her cousin. Tough and smart, she possesses an indomitable will, and she is not afraid, not of her cousin's new husband, who is both menacing and alluring, not of his father, the ancient patriarch who seems to be fascinated by Noemi, and not of the house itself, which begins to invade Noemi's dreams with visions of blood and doom. Her only ally in this inhospitable abode is the family's youngest son. Shy and gentle, he wants to help, but he might also be hiding dark knowledge of his family's past, for there are many secrets behind the walls of High Place. The family's once colossal wealth and faded mining empire kept them from prying eyes, but as Noemi digs deeper, she unearths stories of violence and madness, and Noemi, mesmerized by the terrifying yet seductive world of High Place, may soon find it impossible to leave this enigmatic house behind. So this one is also, like you could tell from the synopsis, there's little this magical realism thing to it, where the house is starting to invade Noemi's dreams, and this one is a little bit inspired by the yellow wallpaper, which you can tell from the wallpaper here. So I had a wonderful time with this one. I gave this one a 4 stars as well, and I was buddy reading it with some friends, and some of them didn't like the ending. I had a good time. I honestly read 100 pages, so I read 50 pages, and then the next day 50 pages, and then I finished the book, because I needed to know. I was so engrossed in the story. I needed to find out what was going on with this place, with this house, with everything. This one is really perfect for the fall. I mean, it is a mystery thriller, a gothic story. It is just so creepy, and this one you definitely want to read when it's a little bit gloomy outside. It suits that ambiance so well. I had such a good time with this one. And like I said, I know it's not for everyone, but it really worked for me. So there you go, guys. Those are 5 recommendations for fall. I will be doing more fall recommendations, but these are whimsical books to read when you're curled up with a blanket and it's raining outside and you want to have a cup of tea and you want to have just a cozy day with a whimsical, weird, sometimes fantastical, sometimes creepy book, sometimes really sad book. So these are my recommendations. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, and or if you're going to be picking up one of these based on my recommendation. That would be so cool. So let me know in the comments down below, and if you have your own recommendations that kind of fit this vibe, let me know in the comments as well, so people can have even more recommendations thanks to you. Or if you just want to let me know that you were here, leave a what could fit this? Leave a fall leaf emoji, because I'm ready for fall. The weather is clearly ready for fall, so leave a fall leave emoji in the comments. That is going to be it from me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and if you want to see more from me, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, guys.